My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. And today I wanted to talk about loving the self, loving your sacred, beautiful self. I'm somebody that eats spiritual information for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I spent my life invested in spiritual studies. It has always fascinated me. I've had a lot of darkness, a lot of shadow teacher, a lot of false evidence appearing real, a lot of two-leggeds with a lot of toxic poison. They're like, here, let me put some poison in your cup. And I'm like, what? Delicious. I love drinks. Ew, this tastes terrible. So I've been through, much like you probably, a lot of shadow teacher here. I've had to do a lot of shadow integration to integrate the value, the learning, what is the gift in the shadow teaching. And because I've had a lot of shadow teacher, it's really pulled my attention into a lot of spiritual information because that's been my solace, that's been my medicine, that's been the way I've been able to make sense of it. That's how I've been able to come to this conclusion that shadow and light are a part of our school. They've always been both available here. They always will be. And maybe part of the challenge is judgment. We judge shadow teacher as bad, and we judge light teacher as good. We judge false evidence appearing real or fear-based teacher as bad, and we judge love-based teacher as good. We didn't really come to Earth School to be like just strumming our ukuleles, singing Kumbaya, my Lord, and only experiencing love and light teacher. That's not actually what Earth School is, nor is it what it has ever been. It's always offered shadow and light. So maybe part of what we're dealing with here is a unique matrix where, due to our conditioning of wanting comfort, we've decided it is uncomfortable to deal with shadow teacher, and therefore it's bad and we don't want it, so we judge it as bad. And then we might also judge outside of ourselves that's bad, that's wrong, you shouldn't do that, that's no, that doesn't match my opinion stack, which I feel is the right way to be. Because in my experience, just think in your own life, how many two-leggeds have you met that don't feel like they're right about what they think and believe? Okay. We really think we're right about what we believe. And then, if other people would just believe what I believe about vaccination or masks or how to handle a pandemic or what to do about fires, or if other people would just believe what I believe about politics or philosophy or religion or atheism, then they would be as smart as me. It's like, okay, high horse. Somebody needs a nap and a snack, because what you have is an opinion sack. You have a perspective. It is a way to look at the world, and there are 7.9 billion ways to look at the world from a humanoid perspective. That's assuming that the part of the 7.9 billion aren't hybrids, but neither here nor there. What I will say is we each have a way we hold our world, and we feel right about it. And so our ego, which is a friend, it's important to note, it's been in my own evolution and in my own growth, which I always want to share with you. I used to want to get rid of the ego. I'm like, man, this ego is a real problem. Think about how much two-leggeds are trying to appeal to someone else's ego, and they're depressed and suicidal and upset because they didn't appeal to that person's ego, as if that matters at all. Or, just think about what a problem the ego can be. Everybody's trying to look good, look cool, be hip. Who cares? You know what I mean? You're going to die and rot off the bone. Impress yourself. Impress yourself. You're the one you got to be with every breath you take, not some other fool. You know what I mean? Impress yourself. And what does that mean to impress yourself? To really take time to acknowledge all that you be, all that you do. One of the ways that we love ourselves is we take time to acknowledge. I was having, just some reflection, and I got a business reading from akashicresources.com, and really powerful reading. And they were talking about me, envisioning what are my must wins that I want to have in 2022 for Rare Bird Medicine. And I started to reflect on it. And I thought, man, I just feel like I should have done more with Rare Bird Medicine this past year. But then I started to reflect on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I made Rare Bird Medicine a nonprofit. I started teaching classes online. I started creating those classes for at-home study. I've actually made a lot of shifts in this past year with Rare Bird Medicine, with everything that's been going on. I've launched into a lot of new arenas. I'm now about to make a podcast. I'm just growing. I'm now on TikTok, Rare Bird Heather. I'm expanding into all these different avenues. So I've actually had a lot of growth, and there's a lot that we do as two-leggeds that we don't take the time typically to acknowledge. So first, I would say in loving the self, it's important to have a habituated practice of acknowledging all that you do. You spend a lot of your time and attention being loving, being kind, being supportive, being a generous ear, getting things done, taking care of business, la, 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 la. So you're doing a lot of great stuff all the time. And so like to just reflect for a minute, how often do you sit? When I started making a list of all I've done, I was like, wow, I've actually done a lot. I've done a lot with my business this year. And that really inspired me to like, yeah, I can keep growing, you know? So it's important to acknowledge what you are doing that is working. Also, your ego matrix is there to discern. It is there to decide. Fire is hot. It is there to decide, I don't choose to engage with XYZ matrix more than this amount of time or whatever. It's there to help you decide what you want to move towards and away from. That's fundamentally, it's a labeling system. And it is the component of your matrix that also houses your self-esteem. So we don't want to kill the ego. We don't want to get rid of the ego. What we want is a healthy relationship with the ego. And one of the ways we can get a healthier relationship with the ego is to feed the self acknowledgement of what we're doing that is working. Also, the ego tends to project anything it denies. So I might judge someone driving by in a Hummer and be like, you gas guzzler, you hate Mother Earth, as I drive my car that's using gasoline. So I'm denying that I am also destroying the earth by using gasoline, and I'm projecting it onto that guy because he is doing it in a more extreme way, potentially, because I don't actually know what his Hummer runs on. It's a made up story. So one of the ways that I also get my ego into a healthy place is to recognize when I'm judging. Because what that means is my ego has denied something and it's trying to project it onto someone else so that it doesn't have to touch it. And so what I do is I allow myself to be in a state of evolution and I allow myself to learn. I'm allowed to learn. I don't have to like get it right all the time. And how boring would that be? Can you imagine if you actually had a full 50 years where nothing ever went wrong? Like you'd be so bored. We actually do love our stub toes. We do love our, notification of, hey, you didn't take care of your business. We do love diversity in our experience, which is why this paradigm of Earth School was made, so that we can have a lot of diverse experience. We love contrast, and this is a very contrast-rich world, So I look at any time I'm judging something throughout my day, and if I go to judgment instead of discernment, like, I don't know if I would choose that. Would I drive a Hummer? Probably if I could get it to run on corn oil or something, or I don't know. How does that work? You know what I mean? Instead of me just observing and discerning my truth from the contrast that I experience, if I'm in judgment, what a jerk. That guy is such a fool. Why would he choose that vehicle? If I've gotten into judgment, that's not about him. It's about me. And if I want to have a healthy self-esteem, I got to make peace with ways that I am unconsciously attacking others so that I can avoid attacking myself for what I judge that I'm doing that doesn't align with my values. So instead I just check in and just go, Heather, you are driving a car that runs on gas. That's interesting. And you do love the earth and you really want to be a better steward. So I recently started becoming a distributor of Shaklee, which is something my mom and dad used to do. I chose that because not only did they make the first multivitamin in the US, they've been around forever. They have amazing business practices. All of their packaging is biodegradable. Their products are sustainable. They have a zero carbon footprint. They're the first company to have gotten certification in the States to have a zero carbon footprint. So they're really powerful green company. So I started connecting with that company as a way that I can support the earth more while I drive my car. And it's one of the ways I can also practice self-care. Like I tend to be a busybody. Heather's running around. She's double fire sign. She's getting it done. I'm going to take this Sag Leo moon over there, and then over here, and I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. Boop, 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 And I sometimes am not checking in with self-care as far as like, have I had a snack? So I take my glass Shaklee bottle that is not plastic and is not infusing my food with plastic. And I take my Shaklee packet, my Life Shake that has only 160 calories, tons of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, because that's how the company got started, is with nutrition, dairy-free, gluten-free, plenty of protein, 20 grams of protein. So I can take that and 8 ounces of alternative milk, shake that up, hit the road, And then I know I have a source of self-care while I run around like a chicken with my head cut off. You know what I mean? This is my source of self-care. It's one of the ways I get out in the world and get stuff done without getting to a state of being hangry and not having met my needs. So that's another component of self-love, is making sure that you're going to meet your needs. And if you want to get a life shake, you can always go to PWS, P as in Paul, W as in William, S as in Sam, .shaklee.com/earth and self-love. pws.shaklee.com/earth and self-love, and you can get a glass bottle so you're not infusing your drinks with plastic, and you can get some life shakes, and you can practice that self-care if you're somebody that tends to run around, and needs to take care of yourself. But that's one of the things you can tend to when it comes to self-love. Are you meeting your base needs? Are you hydrated? Have you had water? Or have you gone to the restroom? Are you meeting your basic needs of being a two-legged that exists? Are you getting enough nutrients and sustenance? Or are you pushing yourself? Next appointment. Now I've got to go over there. I've got to run by the, give yourself an easy source to make sure you get nutrients, calories, and sustenance while you're using your mitochondria to think, and while you're using your body's energy to move about the world. So regular self-care practices, unwinding from technology at night so that you start to put yourself in a go to sleep mode. So disengaging from the TV and the phone, maybe choosing the last 30 minutes of every day to write about what you're grateful for, write about what you did, acknowledge yourself. Man, today I did this. Today I got really triggered and mad, and I noticed that I didn't opt in to getting in an argument. I went home and I meditated and calmed down. That was really cool. That's a new practice for me. You can acknowledge yourself. You can have rituals in which you practice self-care. Heather has rituals where 7 days a week she works out. There are days where I don't do that, but I also make sure those rituals include yang workout and yin. I do qigong, I do yoga, and I also do weight training, right? So all of that is a way that I'm telling myself my temple matters, and I'm going to take care of this beloved temple of mine. So I do it through self-care practices, and that's just starting rituals. You can start AM and PM rituals. They can be anything you want. 5 minutes of gratitude writing. They can be, I'm now going to floss my teeth and brush my teeth. They can be, I'm going to do sit-ups when I watch TV at night, and then I'm going to turn the TV off, and I'm going to unwind into conversation with two-leggeds, or I'm going to pet my cat and tell it how beautiful its fur looks today, or whatever, So you can practice some of those self-care rituals. You can start to acknowledge the self for all that you do and all that you be. You can also start to recognize when you're judging. When you're judging, your ego is probably denying something and trying to project. And rather than beat yourself up, if you pause when you judge, if you go, oh, that felt like a judge, it feels like I'm really judging this two-legged over here. And I don't know you, so what room do I have to judge you? Let me back it up. Why am I judging you? Because you're doing this triggered me, and I feel like humans don't have the right to act that way. And that's obviously not true, because we have freedom to act any way we want down here. That's obvious. So let me acknowledge that maybe I need to give myself some more freedom of expression. Maybe I judge myself harshly when I behave in these manners, and I don't want to behave that way. That's okay. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to grow. You don't always have to know. So we can actually very softly come and look at the self for our own growth, our own evolution work. We can be gentle with ourselves where we're evolving. Earth School is a platform where we get to awaken to different understandings, because it is a dualistic realm. It's a dichotomy. It's a polarized realm. Up, down, good, bad, right, wrong, left, right. We have shadow, light. We have false evidence appearing real, or fear and love. We have duality present. And in that duality, that gives us the opportunity to be in a constant state of contrast, where sometimes we're having shadow learnings and sometimes we're having light learnings. Sometimes we're learning through fear and sometimes we're learning through love. So we can just give ourselves freedom, and we can give ourselves permission and opportunity to just evolve and to learn, to not have to know everything. You don't have to be a bad guy just because you didn't know something. Everybody evolves as they grow, as they come to know more and more. You didn't start out as a baby walking and talking. So evolution is part of the paradigm down here of what we're doing. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Also on TikTok now, we're doing 3-minute little quickie talks. You can look for Rare Bird Heather on TikTok as well. I hope you love yourself this day. You're such a lovely being. You've always been plenty lovable. Be kind to you. Blessed be.